is the food emergency scenario packet. So most of that in the chat, number 0, 1, 2, 3, and then there's a 4 and 5 that I couldn't put in the chat, but I will send out with the replay. This week, Anna had asked us, sent out this email to us. She says here, I have been working hard as part of a team to create the architecture for our banking transfer system so it can handle the several different kinds of funds we will have available to us. Our system will be going up as theirs is going down. We may wind up going to a coupon system for food before this is done, which brings me to the second issue. A consortium of large grocery store chains have offered to provide free food to our assemblies, and I am guessing that this extends to county level assemblies too. And I'm wondering what role the militias and PKTF might play in organizing the logistics and security for assembly food distribution centers. So the directorate got together on this to think through the logistics of how we would actually deploy in a food emergency. So we haven't heard back whether these grocery stores are ready to deliver the food or what stage that is at, but we decided to go ahead and develop a food emergency protocol just in case, because we need one anyway. So that's what you see in your chat there. So this is what we've come up with. Joe had sent reply. So, and you can go ahead and read that. I'm not going to read all that. And then Boyd got together, got some things together, and Kathy got some things together, and we put a whole packet together. And this is for you to deliver to your militia commanders. And I'm going to go over a little bit of it, and then the rest of it you all can discuss in your militia assembly. So this is the cover of it's called the Peacekeeping Task Force Protocol for National Food Emergency. Now this may change, edits may come later, but this will be our official protocol document for to instruct the militia assemblies on how we would interface with you guys in an emergency. So in this case, this scenario, we know that the food stamps are being taken away. We don't know how long. And so the supply chain stores, the grocery stores, want to deliver the food to the people. So when the director got together and was thinking, well, we hardly got any county assemblies established. So how would we even do it, right? So we thought that the best way to do it would be through the local food pantries or the food banks. So I came up with this logistics for preparation for your assembly getting ready for a food emergency. So these are steps that your state assembly could take right now to get ready for a food emergency. If they come through with these stores who want to give the assembly some food, how will we logistically handle that? So step one, the state assembly militia would need to get together a list of all the food pantries or food banks per county in your state, now Illinois had already done a list. This is an example of what your list would be. That would be your first starting point. Get your list together. And then there's an app that you can find food pantries or food banks, and then there's one general place on the web you can find it, but I'm sure you all resourceful, y'all can find out how to make your list for your food pantries and your food banks. Then the second step, the state militia assembly identifies what counties are represented in their own general assembly by where everyone lives. Now, this was one of your assignments in your list. How many nationals serving on your assembly in each county? This is why this is how all these things connect. For the PKTF, if there's an emergency that happens, it happens on the county. Even if there's a crime that happens, it happens on the county. So anytime we want to deploy anything emergency from the PKTF, we have to be able to get down to the county where the emergency is. So these chains of command have to get put together. And so find out on your assemblies what counties are already represented. those would be the first people that you would start developing your county connections and your county assemblies already, which in the drill assembly handbook, that's how it's supposed to have started, is the county assembly starts at the same time as the state assemblies, because you're in the same place and you're the same people. So right now then, if your state assembly militia would have to identify what counties are already represented by the members that's in your state assembly now, and then assign to those assemblymen to contact their local food banks or food pantries. After you've determined what counties are represented, then the other counties that's not represented, then you all have to split up the rest and divide out who's going to contact whatever other counties. And then step 3, now this is logistically how we thought that it could smoothly go, but you might have a better plan. So this is not cut in stone, and you can change this if you like. The only thing you can't change is this right here. This one you can't change, but you can give us suggestions of changes to make. This is going to be an official document from the PKTF. But these, everything from 2, 3, 4, and 5, you can change. So after you determine what your list of food banks are, somebody's going to start calling the list. Call the local food bank contact person. Lead out on the call with introducing yourself as the American government, looking to provide the community with relief due to the food stamp cuts. You're going to tell them you want to provide these things. Now, you want to provide delivery of food from the store chains that we just talked about that the fiduciary had offered, right? You want to tell them this is what you want to provide. Now, in this another document that is not, I wasn't able to put on the, yeah, I could pull it up here. As you're talking to these people, here's a checklist. Here's a checklist of things you're going to gather, the information you're going to gather. So this phone call is more of a research exercise, so you can get down the information you need to have in order to direct your assembly, your state assembly, how they're going to help you, and your PKTF, how they're going to help you. So you got to log this information as you're talking to them. So go over this information and know what you want to ask when you get on this call with these people. And it's going to take more than one call to find out this information, because you're going to need to find out if that food bank actually is open to receiving more food. Basically, first of all, if they don't want any more donations, then you're going to move on to the next food bank. So this is a checklist, it's a thorough checklist that you can go over while you're having this conversation, or you can wait for the second conversation if you want to go down to that food bank or that food pantry and meet with them and have the conversation there, and together you building this relationship. You all can go more into depth, because you may not have that rapport to go into depth with all those things on the first call. But the first call, you want to find out if they are open to having more food delivered, because if you think about it, if they're accepting more food, they're accepting more workload. Okay, so question you're going to ask them too, compensation to hire more helpers. So do they need to hire more helpers to be able to work with this new workload, this additional workload of food? You're going to want to know that. You're going to want to know this one here. So this third one is an offering that I've been discussing with Emily. It says you want to know from the food bank if they will allow you to have an assemblyman, allow you to, the American government, to have a table at their pantry on distribution day. And if they're going to allow you to do that, what you want to do at that table, of course, you want to, tell them about the American government, tell them about what has happened, get them signed up as declared as American, all that normal thing. But additionally, this is an offering that we want to see if we can execute and implement in the communities. And this is a portal sign up for people whose food stamps have been stopped. We want to be able to pay those food stamps to those people, whatever the amount of sums those were. So your American government is going to sit there, your county assembly militia is going to sit there at the food bank during those delivery times. Now, and this can happen even if we don't get a go ahead with the chain of stores. Even if we don't get a go ahead with the chain of stores, this is still on the table of us contacting the food banks. And if we can't add in the conversation about the trucks that's coming, then the conversation will be about the assembly setting up a table on distribution day so that you can invite those whose food stamps have been cut to come sign up in the portal and get those sums paid directly to them, at least for the month of, this is November, that's almost over, but November and December. So Emily and the U.S. Capitol Private Bank is going to be the source of these funds. Logistically, they need help to get it from that bank to that person, to that individual man or woman. That's where we come in at. So when you go to your assemblies, you want to make them aware of this aspect to it. We got the opportunity for the food chains to deliver some food, and we have the opportunity for the funds to pay for those food stamps that's been cut. Those two things you want to take back to your assembly. Now, she had asked me, is there any county assemblies that's already up and going so that we can go do a test run? I told her there's at least two to three, maybe 2 to 5, because I know Marion County is good to go. And I know Clark County, it was good to go. So when you go back to your assemblies, find out what county assemblies are already organized and ready to sit down at a food pantry and have a table and bring people home and relieve some of these people whose food stamps been cut. Email me who that county is and the contact information for the county organizer or the militia leader or the county sheriff, whoever it is, so that we can get this part executed, even if even if the stores aren't ready. Emily says she's ready to go and she'll have the portal ready for tonight, but we can't move that fast. So get to your assemblies and let them know any county assemblies is organized enough to be able to contact their food pantries and be ready to go sit at a table at those food pantries like next week, if you are already organized for that. If you're not already organized for that, then get organized for it. So I think for an assembly, at least 3 people can make an assembly. We just need people who want to go do the work that we're supposed to be doing. That's all we need. So those 3 things is what you want to find out on this first call when you're talking to the food pantry, the food bank. Step 4, follow up with these questions to find out more. So these are the checklist questions, and these questions here are the more detailed, deep dive information you're going to want to know about this food pantry, to know if they're going to be an opportunity for you to deliver food. And if you're going to deliver food, what are these other factors that's going to come into play? Because you're going to have to figure out how you're going to need to help them handle this additional weight of more food. So those questions, along with the checklist, is where this come in at, either on the first call or on a sit-down call. I would say these questions and the checklist would be most effectively done on a sit-down call. Once you find out that they are open to receiving food, and once you tell them that you're the American government and those 3 offerings you're trying to make to them, I would go ahead and set up a meeting to sit down with them to go over the more detailed things so that you can build that relationship. Because in the future, you are really making a protocol for your assembly when there is a food emergency. That's what you're doing as the big picture. Step 5, prepare state and county assemblymen for manning a table on site. So the rest of these things 5, 6, 7, 8 is all about your assembly being prepared to sit down at that table. Brochures you got to have ready, forms you got to have ready as far as the declaration forms and all that. Any of the publications you have to, the flyers you got to get ready. All that is what those steps are for. Then step 9 is the security of the food. So does that assembly already have a county sheriff? Do you have someone, if you don't have an elected county sheriff, do you have someone that will stand in as an interim county sheriff or a peacekeeper? That type of thing. Do you have your radio communications all set up? And everybody trained on the radios, at least 2 or 3 people trained on the radios. When there's an emergency, you all can communicate from assembly to assembly, from assembly to state, from the state to the PKTF. Are your radio communications ready? So those are the steps that we saw initially as we put this together. You can build this out, fill this out more and logistically of what you see is missing here. So that's the second part of this packet. And then the third part is just your list, what you want to get together. And then the checklist is the fourth part, which I showed you the checklist. And the fifth part is the spreadsheet, which I wasn't able to put in the thing there. So this is the spreadsheet, which you can change, but you're going to have to be doing some reporting back to your state assembly militia, and the state assembly militia is going to have to be doing some reporting back to the PKTF liaison, with the liaison is going to report back to us. Our role is to logistically talk to the food chain people, say, hey, we need more of this, and let them know what happened to the food, let them know if they have a breakdown of trucks or whatever, we need to be able to tell you guys what they said. So all that type of communication. So this right here is for you to fill out all those details for your reporting every week. Now, that is the new thing on the table, is preparing for a food emergency. And this is a real scenario right now, because we are preparing to try to deliver some relief to the people during the holidays, especially those who have their food stamps cut. Marion, you got a question?
I do. So we went down and we did that evaluation process. And quite honestly, they were really generous. I mean, they filled the cars of the homeless people that we brought, or the people that were in need. But we noticed that most of the stuff was things they really shouldn't be eating. Do we have access, or are we going to be able to put together local farmer groups, or healthier produce stuff for these families to get their hands on?
That would be something you would do locally. So
Okay.
yeah, local farmers, if you preparing for your food emergency for a county assembly, that would be something that you would put on the plate along with this, to know what your local farmers are doing, what they have available. Now we're in November and December and January, which they probably don't have much, but maybe, depends on where you live.
We do. We have the Tampa and the Jacksonville markets that are huge, but none of those want to cooperate with us without money. But we just noticed in the car, and they never asked us questions. They never asked where, or addresses, or how many people were in the home. They literally filled the automobiles. But our question or our overview of that process was that the majority of the stuff that they were packing these cars full of were either expired or just stuff that you really shouldn't be eating anyways. And so that was a concern for us.
So I guess we can't dictate what the food chain, well, I don't know if you can or not, what the food stores want to give you, want to give to the public. I don't know if you can dictate that, but I can see a way around it where the assembly, now there's a little bit more work on the assembly, but the assembly, if you all contact your local farmers, of course you can navigate that to see if the local farmers would want to be able to want to give their food. Now with the and connect that with the monies that are going to be available for those whose food stamps are cut. So you would have to somehow make the connection between the home that needs the food and the farmer that's giving the food, and that the portal that gives the money. You have to connect those three together in how you handle the whole situation.
So we did connect with other ASNs that are actually attending those farmers markets. The complication is, and we have our food distribution center was the brick and mortar, but now we have the RV. We can still make those arrangements to meet in specific parking lots. But it turns out that it was a small group of us that were paying for everything from the farmers, but we've been doing that for about a year, handing out baskets of mixed fruits and vegetables.
Mm-hmm. So if the monies that you all are paying out could be the monies that's coming from the portal, so we'll figure it out. So I know your county is ready. So just contact me, because that can work. Whereas the food that you are giving out, or that's being paid for through that portal, can be paying for that farmer's food, as opposed to just giving them money to go buy whatever.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
follow me?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'd rather give them something that's healthy than a whole box of ice cream and garbage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what
Mm-hmm.
we've been doing. But
Mm-hmm.
and we do have farmers and groups down here that are connected to the markets that are really cooperative. But it is still, like $40 for this. It's a huge basket, but it's about $40 a basket. And then the families were coming to our brick and mortar to pick it up.
Yeah, that could work. So where the funds are coming from, we have leeway to set it up so that we can make it most beneficial for the families, by giving them the good food, and not just whatever comes from the food pantry. Mhm.
Thank you. I
Thank you. Marion?
I was just gonna reiterate with that, and yeah, I don't know directly what they serve, but I have heard from many people that have gotten assistance that indeed it is food that is unacceptable, but that's what they do because they're in their pocket still and they make them feel good. But nevertheless, you said a comment that you didn't know if we could dictate. We are paying for this. When the funds come to us, we are paying them, who will be providing us with nutritious food, better food. So we get to dictate that. Now, if we're in a pinch and we know we just got to pull in whatever we need to, well, then we're going to take whatever we can get offered. But outside of that, oh no, if we are providing payment, we get to dictate that so that we can provide better nutritious food to people. Because I'm right there with Marianne. There's no sense giving the people something that is not nutritious. I mean, that defeats the whole purpose. They're still going to be starving.
Now, the food stores, that chains that Anna is speaking with, that food we're not paying for, but so that's what I was referring to. I don't think we can
Okay.
dictate what they're giving us.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I yield.
Any other questions? So within this next 7 days, I need some counties to contact me, to let me know if logistically you all can move that fast into your local communities. Outside of that, we need the state assemblies to begin their protocols for what they would do in this food emergency, preparing for if we do get truckloads of food from the stores coming in. All this need to be prepared within the next week or two, I would say, because we're going to treat it as a real scenario right now. So militia commanders and militia assemblies, how would you do it? Yes, Kimberly.
Thank you so much. I have lots of questions. I will only ask a few here. You just said that, is this or is this not a real scenario we're running? Is my assembly, I don't want to trigger a fear response or a response to something if we are genuinely in an exercise versus we're pretty much lining up and this is going to be happening. I really do need to be honest with my assembly on this, coming with, you know, year ends, holidays, multiple other things PKTF has offered with Tenfold Shield, the, you know, recognition programs, various other things. It's a lot of swamp that's happening at once. I'm overwhelmed by the whole thing, which again, you know, crisis situations, that could be, you know, what we would experience. But I'm looking at this and I have grave concerns, having been a business owner. The task that's being asked for with having to conduct the money, conduct the inventory, conduct the security, then do a promotional booth at the same time for outreach. As a businesswoman, to pull off what you're being asked, you really do have to have a significant team to do that. And I guess I'm genuinely asking because I don't feel ready on Michigan to do this. And I think that my assembly, though they're very capable and they would, you know, we will jump to whatever service we have to do. I do definitely have grave concern. I also have grave concern that if we go to these folks and we start to actually, you know, profess that we might have this, and then there's a non-delivery, that's going to harm us badly. I can't put my name on not knowing something's not going to show up. I just can't do it. And again, I'm not trying to be resistant because I don't want to. God, I want to, but I can't. I can't falter. The optics on where I am are so hostile to me that if I were to miss that mark on an overpromise, that would devastate this movement in this area. So I love the idea. I can't, I mean, the grace of it, how amazing. I just quite sincerely, I don't know, how are we as assemblies across the United States right now in America? I mean, are we really strong enough? Do we have a militias strong enough to do this that I could even give feedback to, you know, my state on, okay, this is where other states are and these guys are doing it, so we can keep an eye on how they're progressing and what they're doing, maybe talk to them, how they're doing it. You know, can you give me a little glimpse of, I mean, I don't know where to place where Michigan's actually at with all of this. And so if you could help me build this out, you know, we want to help, we want to participate, but Lord, I'm looking at it going, I don't even know how we can start this. And again, I'll take it back and the sounder minds may go, oh, it's all right. And my organizers will take it over. But, you know, we don't have some of these things officially in place. I don't know how to, you know, without the numbers of people yet, I don't know how to help do this. And I'm feeling really a bit inept. So if you can help here, that'd be great. And so I'll yield and let you all take back over. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Kimberly, it's really important for people to understand that it's like I put to our.
Is that Paul? Is that
Assembly.
Paul?
Yes, it is.
Okay, let me have David first, since he had his hand up, and then I'll come back to you, Paul, okay? Go ahead, David.
I was simply going to say I could easily probably echo what Kimberly just said. Missouri's not prepared for a whole lot of anything. We got 12 people active on the whole state. So, but I did like, Louise, that you said that we could go back, and because we're a militia assembly on Missouri. That's all we really have. But I could go back and present this and get a discussion going about this being a statewide protocol, you know, so that when we do have a militia commander, when we do have county reeves and other things, that we've got something in place. That is the one thing I would share with you too, Kimberly, that's probably all we may be able to do based off what you said. It sounds like that's all Michigan's really prepared for, is having the discussion. And I agree with Kimberly as well. I think when the SHTF scenario, like a food shortage, does happen, I think most assemblies will step up and go above and beyond, and wear their 15th hat out of the 14 that they're already wearing. They'll add another one, and there'll be food emergency response preparedness people on top of that. You know, but yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Louise, that, you know, about still taking it back and have a discussion about it so that people are thinking about it. Because I'm sure most states don't have a clue on what to even begin to do. And you've gotten a really good outline here. So I appreciate you all the directorate taking the time to put this forth. I'm sure it'll be some good talking points in Missouri. I yield.
Thank you, David. Now, Paul.
Well, it's the real time the real time, I can tell you from the emergency medical service perspective, of which 90% of 911 calls are, you respond based on the need. So as I said, just imagine, let's say it was December 11th, December 15th, whatever date that was. Okay, because they're talking, kind of what many are saying tonight, what their concerns would be. And I said, everybody, I reminded everybody, listen, you've got a plan right now. It's just not a good plan. So the idea, of course, is to adopt this, and they took the action to do that later on this week because they had to at least have some time to wrap their brains around it. We're going to have an online virtual meeting and then just take action based on, I said, this is something that we could have done earlier. This isn't something to respond to this potential real world. This is the kind of thing that being prepared for is there. The need is there anyway. So it's not an either or. This is about people mobilizing for service and responding. So for instance, I said, how many of you got the D10 radios? And a few people that had them, I said, well, see, these are all real-time things that need to be set. What's nice about what we got tonight, we got a little bit more of the nomenclature, and we got the steps to be taken and stuff. So that's something that's been generated that can be given. I've already texted, the two organizers to on our county to implement this. And I said, well, we haven't even gotten home from earlier, but this is real time stuff. Trust me, emergencies don't wait for anybody. It can happen anytime, any place, and particularly if you're not ready. I yield.
Thank you all. So this is the email we got from fiduciary. Is it a situation happening now? Yeah, it's happening now. It's happening now. Will these consortium of large grocery store chains actually say to our fiduciary, hey, we got our trucks loaded. Where do you want us to send them? I don't know. But she told us here, how could you all be ready for this? Because I'm talking to them. So this is a real life scenario. You simply don't have enough people. So to that question, would this be comfortable for you to call up in a food pantry and say, this is American government, and we have potentially trucks loads of food that we can deliver to you guys, but we want to ask a few questions to see if this would be feasible. Having potentially, we're setting this up, let's see how we can make it happen, as opposed to promising them something. Now, that's how the conversation can start off with making your list of food pantries who may be available, who may be open to you all coming. So that would protect you from that. Now, as far as the portal that I discussed that the U.S. Bank and Emily has available, that is happening now. That is available now. So this conversation that you're having with the food pantry, I think the reason we picked the food pantry as a avenue is because we know assemblies, the county assemblies aren't organized. They don't have a location for trucks to deliver food to the communities. So you're going to work with the things that's already set up in your communities that do these types of things, which are food pantries and food banks. So the conversation to them when you're talking, after you tell them about possibly bringing food, the second part you're going to be talking about is your assembly government being able to sit a table there and have a conversation to the community, and that you're going to tell them about the portal for those people who have food stamps that's been cut. That is happening now, and that's available now. So that conversation needs to, yeah, that conversation can happen. That's it. I don't like to say promise, but that's the offering right now to those people in the community. Yes, Kimberly?
Thank you. I'm a bit confused on the portal. If you can maybe help me comprehend that, would we then also be responsible for helping to actually put like inventory together? Like we need 400 eggs, or, are we responsible for the accounting, as it were, or the responsibility for having to pay for something? I thought I heard you say we had to coordinate money somehow. Am I accurate in that? I mean, are we putting the orders together, or do we just connect this and these people know how to do it and we just kind of put them together and it happened? Could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And before I answer that, this protocol, your assembly read this over and you can better see how the logistics work together, from the
Okay.
PKTF to the marshal at arms to the
Perfect.
state militia commanders to the
Okay.
county sheriffs. All of it is in this protocol of how that
Thank
works
you.
together. Now,
Perfect.
the money part, there is no money that you all have to pay out. This portal, it has nothing to do with collecting food or distributing food. The portal doesn't. The portal is a bank. The portal is giving out money to these people. It has a whole account of hundreds of thousands of dollars, upwards of millions of dollars, to hand out to these people whose food stamps been cut. Now, you don't have to know how to work the portal. Let me take that back. You're going to have to know a little bit, because you got to tell this person, well, sign, log in here, put this information here, but all that training will come when to the county who say they ready, because everybody ain't ready. So we ain't no use telling everybody. So whatever county assembly that contacts me will get that information of how to walk somebody through the portal so that they can put their information in and get the money out. And based on what Annette was talking about, it may be a little different, because we're trying to get them some healthy food from a farmer. So the money might go to the farmer, or the money might go to the assembly, and the assembly delivers the groceries to the people. So it may be a little different, but there is no money coming out of the assembly in this scenario. As far as the portal go, is not related to delivering food at all. The portal is a bank account that's delivering money to the people who log into it.
Okay, so I forgive me, I'm so struggling to get some of these things. So if we set this up and we distribution day comes, basically the way this will work is the inventory will have come in, they will already have had it in their presence to be able to get ready to do the distribution part of it. They take care of that part of the distribution. At the same time, that duty's relieved of us. We've gotten the pre-running of that done and gotten them loaded with inventory. But then we move to our part in more of an outreach capacity to have a booth or a table available to both be handing out informational things with regard to the movement and our assemblies, both on soil and on the state. But then that's where, am I correct then in comprehending that the portal would that be that men and women that are coming to get these stamps are going to be signing up through that portal at that table, or is that portal not for that? That's something different. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I think what I heard you say is that we're going to be giving them a different version of a food stamp to take inside and use to get food inside. Is that accurate?
Okay, so the first part was right, not the second part. So
okay, sorry.
So, yeah, so you're correct in that the assembly itself is not dealing with the food per se. That's what the food pantry or the food bank is for.
Okay.
You're partnering with them because they have it all set up already, and our assemblies don't.
Right.
So you're partnering with them to ask the questions of, are you open to more food? Do you need more volunteers? Do you need, can we give you flyers to hand out? So you might want to purchase some flyers and create some flyers to give to them to hand out into the communities, and that's all written in the packet here. So as you all go over, you'll see. So you're partnering with a food pantry or food bank.
Okay.
And you all going to work together to see what parts your assembly can do to help ease the workload, because when we think about delivering food to a food bank, that's a whole nother additional load of food. That's a whole
Yeah.
nother additional load of workload that we're putting on them that they have to
Yes.
logistically look at. So you as an assembly are going to look at that with them, and y'all going to decide how can you actually make this happen and bring in this extra delivery of food. And then that part is the food pantry's job to do the inventory, to distribute, and all that stuff, all the boxes and all that. That's what they're gonna do. So that first part you said, where your role is to sit there with a table and have your laptops available for people to come over to your table, and you tell them about the government and offer them this account that they can sign up with, this portal.
Okay.
So that person who's sitting there is going to have to be trained a little bit on how to walk them through this portal, which they will get that training whenever they come to me and we get this all lined up.
Okay, thank you. You've helped me to definitely get round the corner on that. So I apologize for my stuttering. I think I have it a little better in comprehension. I yield.
Okay. Any more questions? Marion, Annette.
Hi, thank you. Okay, so a couple questions on here is that, so they're not AFDs, they're Federal Reserve notes in this portal.
So, yeah, there'll be Federal Reserve notes in the portal, but it won't be any Federal Reserve notes passed. So it's
Okay.
like a transfer, money to bank to bank. So
Okay.
they'll probably need to put some bank information in there to have it transferred to them or to your assembly, whichever way you want to work that out.
Okay, it was our experience on our county, and we're talking probably about 400 or 500 families that were getting food stamps. And I'll just be honest, 3/4 of them were selling them.
Mhm.
So that's a
So it
big
might be,
problem. I'd rather give them food that I know they're going to actually eat and that's going to benefit their bodies and those little children, rather than smokes and alcohol and selling it. Like that's where I really stand strong with the soup kitchens. And can we support these soup kitchens? Can we support the community churches that are actually out there doing this outreach?
yeah, it doesn't have to, if you have a church and that's written in the protocol too. So it's called hubs in the protocol. If you don't go to a food pantry or one's not available, you can find a church or some other non-for-profit organization or something who does the same type of thing, outreach into the community, where you can partner with them to deliver food to the people, or however you want to work. If y'all have the workforce, if you all want to do the grocery shopping at the farmers and we give the food, the money comes to you and you all do the shopping and deliver it to the people. If you want to do it that way, you can do it that way.
Spectacular, spectacular. Thank you. And I wanted to mention Paul and Kimberly, fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. We really do appreciate hearing from you as well. And Louise, you just knock it out of the park every time. Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer?
Yes, that sounds so amazing with the portal, but I have a hard time trying to provide this information to people without having proof and evidence first. Trust but verify.
Mm-hmm. iPad is all I see. I see a hand. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I had transferred the iPad from the phone. So our concern is the accountability, that if the assembly has funds, where would that accountability be on the expenses and what it's going toward? Because that would be a great concern too.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I yield.
Yeah. So those conversations we will have with the assembly that comes forward, who's ready to actually go out there and do the work. Mm-hmm. Any other questions?